So, lads, Iowa were robbed of the upset of the season. Yes, they were robbed of what was going to be the upset of the season. The best win for the Hawkeyes since they beat South Carolina with Caitlin Clark. Honestly, one of the best wins for the Hawkeyes since like 2 weeks ago when they beat USC. But, it was nearly a month ago. It was like the 1st of February they beat USC. Ironically enough, like on my screen was when I came back to my parents' house was a picture of Lucy Olsen. So obviously the last time I was at my parents' house recording was when they beat USC. And I thought it was going to be another one. They played against UCLA. They were up, and I mean this when I say this. People are like, oh, the game is rigged. This was just the worst referee game in basketball. And I genuinely mean that. The over was, what's the spread? 8.5? I mean, fair play to Iowa for staying within it, but like it was all around just a weird game. Like the referees, it was one of the worst refereed games in the history of basketball. Like Lucy Olsen did not have a great game. Like 5 of 21 from the field, 17 points. Really not a good game, not a great game for her. Like obviously hitting some free throws, and it was just an all-around low-scoring game for a lot of it. The referees kind of ruined anything in this game. Like, I mean that. Like, the referees just ruined the game. Like, during the game, it was like there's a stoppage every 2 seconds because the referees are blowing a whistle. So I actually don't think the referees, they tried to rig it against Iowa. I think somebody told the referees before that game, go make this about you. This is your show. Make this about you. And by the way, this is how the game was lost. It is a tie game, and this happens. She gets tripped on a moving screen. This is a blocking foul on Lucy Olsen. I mean this. Lucy Olsen is the girl in white. This is a blocking foul on her because she trips over a moving screen. Gotta call that. She doesn't roll through the feet of an offensive player. Maybe would. Someone says you gotta call it. Maybe she doesn't roll through the offensive player. Maybe they let it go. Like UCLA 32 tripped her, but she wasn't ready for, like, refs robbed Iowa. I think the refs legitimately robbed Iowa in the last play. The refs are just terrible. Like, how exactly is this not called moving screen? She literally switches her elbow and sticks her leg out. Like, how is it not a moving screen? Like, how is this a defensive foul? She literally gets tripped up by the offensive player because she sticks her knee out and her leg out for an offensive screen. For a, what ref calls the foul? How does this ref here miss it? Like, I understand that referee, because that referee's... Actually, no, that referee's at the angle. It's the far referee that I have my cursor on. She's the one who can see the angle. She's the one who can see the leg out. I was almost blaming the ref on the halfway line. No, it wasn't her. It wasn't her. And we missed overtime. And not only that is a moving screen. She's her leg well outside her frame body. Obviously. This was a moving screen last year against Aaliyah Edwards. It's still a moving screen this year. Obviously. Like, and you've just caused it in game time free throws. Call the moving screen. Let Iowa decide the game. Like, I know it's like, oh, maybe we don't want to decide the game, so we can't call that foul. It's like, oh, I mean, she tripped her up, so we kind of have to call it as a blocking foul now. It's like, one, if you're not going to call moving screens, you don't want to decide the game, then you've just screwed it. Blow a late whistle. And I mean that. Like, if you've watched any Unrivaled, they're doing it. It's in FIBA basketball. They're like pushing late whistles, as in they are waiting to see the outcome of a situation before blowing a whistle. For example, like if somebody throws a pass and, like, I don't know, someone kind of like gets their arm, but the pass still reaches the intended target, it's like, well, just bite your whistle just for the flow of the game. But like, if they're trying to do that, like, it makes no sense. Tripped by the person setting the screen, she gets called for the foul, lose the game by 2 free throws, horrendous officiating. There's about 3 seconds left when this happens. Like, blocking foul on Olsen. She literally gets tripped up. First of all, she gets hit with an elbow. That's a moving screen. And she gets tripped up. You cannot make this up. The goddamn refs, is a terrible call. 100% a foul. Obviously, if Lucy Olsen dived on the floor, it is not only a blocking foul, it is an unsportsmanlike foul. If she trips over her own feet, it's a normal foul. Refs all win this game. They potentially stole a game-winning shot by an Iowa player, or overtime. What are you doing? Time to check out those refs. I have questions about today. And by the way, up to this point in the game, the referees were terrible. That's all anyone could talk about was the referees, by the way. Up to this point in the game, the only conversation was about the referees, not about the game, not about the fact that Iowa have nearly pulled off the damn comeback at win of the year. The unranked Iowa Hawkeyes versus the number 3 ranked, should be number 1 ranked UCLA Bruins. And if you're looking at the game, obviously Iowa were ahead a bit in the third, and Iowa did Iowa pull it back? So UCLA were a bit ahead. And Iowa, it was basket for so long. It was genuinely basket for a lot of that game. Got a tie game. A tie game. Iowa go and bring it back to 65-all. A tie game. You've got Iowa, 3.8 seconds remaining, a chance to win the game, not a chance to tie. And if they missed, we go to overtime. And we have another unbelievable overtime game just after the Notre Dame game. We have a really good game then. We have a really good game, and that's what people are talking about. But now, because the referees, and by the way, if you look at anything from people were talking about was the referees, even before this. The only conversation in this game for 40 minutes was the referees. And it was not that they were unfair. It was the second quarter or the third quarter, they were just trying to screw Iowa. And then to start the fourth quarter, I can't remember what the quarters were, but there was one quarter they were screwing Iowa, and the next quarter they'd screw UCLA. It was the weirdest thing ever. And then, of course, the referees decide the game on bullshit. Whoever got into this referees team's ear before the game clearly told them, make this about you. Make this about you. This is your game. This is not Lucy Olson's game. This is not Lauren Bett's game. Who cares about those players? This is you. This is about you, referees. And that's the worst part about refs is the funniest thing is some people are referees, why do people only call out bad referees and not praise good referees? You do realize the purpose of the referees is to allow the game go. If nobody is talking about you, you've done a good job. At the end of a refereeing game, if nobody mentions the referees, you've done a good job. You don't need constant praise. Don't make the game about you. Your job is to facilitate the game of basketball, not ruin the game of basketball. People only talk about bad refs because bad refs ruin the game. Good refs facilitate the game, bad refs ruin the game. And there's nothing getting praise and everything for being a great ref. And the players know who good refs are. If you facilitate the game of basketball, and that's the thing with good refs. But bad refs ruin a game. They ruined this game up to this point by constantly blowing their whistle every single possession. And then they ruined the ending of what could have been a great game. So yeah, that's the video. Iowa were robbed. Absolutely robbed in that game. Absolutely robbed.